So now continuing with the basic property of ammonia. Another type of reactions that can prove that ammonia is basic in nature is the reaction of aqueous solution of ammonia with solutions of certain metallic salts. It results in the formation of ammonium salt and a precipitate of metallic hydroxide. Now, these precipitates formed during the process are colored precipitates. So, based on the color of the precipitate, you can also identify the cation present in the given metallic salt. So, let's say, for example, you added small quantities of ammonium hydroxide to a salt and you got dirty green precipitate, which is insoluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide. It proves that the salt contains ferrous ions. And if you get reddish brown precipitate, again insoluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide, it contains ferric ions. Then if you get a dull white precipitate, which is again insoluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide, then the salt contains magnesium ions. If you get a chalky white precipitate, again insoluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide, then the salt contains lead ions. And if you get a gelatinous white precipitate which dissolves in excess of ammonium hydroxide, forming a colorless solution, then the salt contains zinc ions. So gelatinous white precipitate soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide will lead to a conclusion that the given salt contains zinc ions. And the colorless solution formed is of either tetramine zinc sulfate or tetramine zinc hydroxide. Now, if you add small quantities of ammonium hydroxide to a salt, which gives you a pale blue precipitate soluble in excess of ammonium hydroxide, forming a deep or an inky blue solution, then we can conclude that the salt contains cupric ions, and the deep or the inky blue solution formed is of tetramine copper sulfate or tetramine copper hydroxide. So, next property is catalytic oxidation of ammonia. Now, when ammonia is oxidized in presence of the catalyst platinum at a temperature of 700 to 800 degrees Celsius, we get a colorless gas at first, which on further oxidation at a lower temperature gives you a reddish brown gas, which turns moist potassium iodide paper brown and liberates violet vapors of iodine. So this is the first step of Ostwald's process, that is the industrial method of preparation of nitric acid. So the next property of ammonia is that it is a reducing agent. When it reacts with metallic oxides, it reduces the metallic oxides to metal, and along with it, it results in formation of water and nitrogen gas. Okay. So the reduced product in this case will be the metal, and oxidized product is nitrogen. Remember one thing, a reducing agent itself undergoes oxidation, and it reduces the compound it is reacting with. So ammonia is a reducing agent, it is reacting with the metallic oxide. So it will reduce that metallic oxide to metal and itself undergo oxidation and form nitrogen gas. So in the reaction between buff yellow litharge, that is lead oxide, with ammonia gas, we get a silvery gray metal, that is lead, plus water plus nitrogen. And when ammonia reacts with a black oxide, which is copper oxide, we get brownish pink metal, that is copper, plus water plus nitrogen gas. So the next set of reactions that again explain that ammonia is a reducing agent. One is action of excess ammonia on chlorine gas, and the other is action of excess chlorine on ammonia. So it's vice versa. So when we react excess ammonia with chlorine, the product formed is ammonium chloride and nitrogen gas. While when excess chlorine reacts with ammonia gas, the products formed are hydrogen chloride and nitrogen trichloride. Nitrogen trichloride is a yellow explosive liquid. Now, in both these reactions, ammonia ammonia is reducing chlorine. In both these reactions, ammonia is reducing chlorine and is itself undergoing oxidation. Okay. Now, if you look on page 176 of your textbooks, you can see uses of ammonia is given there. Now, in the first part, ammonia gas, industrial uses, you just have to remember name of just few random compounds. You do not have to learn the formulas from this section. Like, for example, it is used in synthetic manufacture of synthetic products. Like, it's a source of hydrogen, source of nitric acid, used in manufacture of explosives, dyes and drugs, plastics and resins, baking soda, washing soda, artificial silk, and fertilizers like urea, ammonium sulfate, ammonium nitrate, calcium ammonium nitrate, diammonium hydrogen phosphate, etc. Second and third points given on page 176 are very important. The second point tells us about the use of liquor ammonia, which is used as a cleansing agent because it is an emulsifier. Emulsifier means it can break down larger stains or large oily and greasy stains into smaller particles which can easily be washed off. So it is used in cleaning of porcelain articles. Porcelain articles are like tiles, platform tiles, window panes, etc., which can be cleaned by using liquor ammonia because it is a good emulsifying agent. The third point is also equally important. Liquid ammonia is used in refrigerant ice plants. Okay, it is used as a refrigerant in ice plants because it has a very high latent heat of evaporation or high latent heat of vaporization. The reason is, while it changes into the gaseous state, whenever liquid ammonia changes from liquid to gaseous state, it absorbs large amounts of heat from its surrounding. So because it absorbs large amounts of heat from the surrounding temperature is cooled down. So when we keep a small beaker containing some liquid ammonia in it, and within or in the center of a trough or in the vicinity of water, it will absorb large amount of heat from water, thus helping in conversion of water to ice. And that is why it is used as a refrigerant in ice plants because of its property, which is high latent heat of vaporization. Now, in the last part, chlorofluorocarbons are mentioned to you all. Well, I've already studied about the ill effects of chlorofluorocarbons, that they dissociate on exposure to sunlight at high altitudes, forming nascent chlorine atoms, which set off a chain reaction and cause depletion of the ozone layer. So to prevent the depletion of ozone layer, a lot of companies have now started using alternatives to chlorofluorocarbons. One such example is hydrochlorofluorocarbon, HCFC. Okay. Now, so these compounds do not release nascent chlorine, and therefore they are less polluting or they are less harmful to the ozone layer. So test for ammonia gas, we can prove that a gas is ammonia in two ways. One is when glass rod dipped in concentrated hydrochloric acid is brought near the jar containing the gas, if you get dense white fumes, it confirms that the gas inside the jar was ammonia. Secondly, when a gas passed through Nessler's reagent, which is colorless solution, if it turns pale brown, it confirms that the gas passed through the Nessler's reagent was ammonia. So this marks the end of 7B.